ChatGPT is obviously a really powerful tool, but let's see how well it does at creating a syllabus for an undergraduate course in rhetorical criticism that emphasizes diversity and inclusion. Alright, so ChatGPT gave us a lot of the basics that we can use to develop a syllabus. It gave us a course description. It defines the class in an appropriate way. This undergraduate course in rhetorical criticism aims to explore the power of language and discourse in shaping our perceptions, attitudes, and social realities. It was a good way to especially introduce the relationship between rhetorical criticism, the power of rhetoric, diversity, inclusion, and social transformation. In addition, ChatGPT gave us a lot of course objectives. All of those kind of go back to the original point of developing a rhetorical criticism course that emphasizes diversity and inclusion. However, usually I don't have like 8 different course objectives, so that might be a little bit too much. You might want to cut some of those out if you were to use the suggestions from ChatGPT. ChatGPT also gave us a good layout in terms of modules and the weeks that we might use for the course, introducing rhetorical criticism and its significance, introducing key theories and approaches, moving into diversity in terms of historical rhetoric, looking at diverse voices from historical speeches. That is usually a good way to start a rhetorical criticism class. I often find that starting with speeches is a good way to get students to understand some of the basics of rhetorical research. Building in rhetoric and intersectionality, using the intersectionality to understand rhetoric and cultural context, rhetoric, language, and inclusive communication, and rhetoric, social movements, and activism. This class does sound like an awesome class. I would love to teach this class, so ChatGPT, I think, did give us a strong outline for a potential class. It also even gave us some assessment methods that we can use in this course. Of course, usually courses have some readings that are involved, so let's see if ChatGPT can give us some readings that we could use based off of this previous syllabus that we created. Alright, so ChatGPT did give us some readings that we could use, starting with some introduction. Lloyd Bitzer's rhetorical situation is a fundamental concept about how we understand rhetoric as being responding to a particular situation and how rhetoric is used to address an exigence. So I would start there. Having some specific texts and speeches that you could analyze in week 2. Moving on, ChatGPT gave us some of the foundational readings that you could use on intersectionality, especially Crenshaw's article about intersectionality. Although ChatGPT is doing a good job providing us with some foundational readings in terms of diversity, inclusion, and transformation, like bell hooks, talking back, thinking feminist, thinking black, I'm not entirely sure how the syllabus and these readings are kind of working together to teach rhetorical criticism in addition to or through the lens of diversity and inclusion. For example, down below, Sarah Ahmed's book on the Promise of Happiness is a good book, but I'm not entirely sure why we are assigning chapter 6. So there's a little bit of this that I'm not entirely sure that these readings would necessarily be the ones that you would want to use, and especially in terms of if you're trying to think of using rhetorical scholarship to do so. But ChatGPT did give us a solid foundation in terms of some of the readings we could use, an overall organization to the structure of the course that you could follow. Of course, ChatGPT is giving us these little notes that say the syllabus can be adapted and modified, and I would definitely encourage you to adapt and modify if you're ever going to use ChatGPT to start planning out a syllabus. And if you're liking our content, please take a moment to like and subscribe to this video. As you know, liking and subscribing is a critical way to support our channel. It helps us know what kind of content that you all appreciate.